This I cannot say I am surprised by. Well, actually, no. I am absolutely surprised that Donald Trump praised Rachel Maddow, for sure. But then Rachel Maddow basically, figuratively, spat in his face over it. That is not surprising to me because partisan's gonna partisan. Look, man, I'm more than willing to give respect to anybody when they do the right thing or do something good. And I'll even say to Rachel Maddow, Trump praised her for putting our military on full display because she had a guy on, who's this guy? General Semonite on the show, and Trump thanked her for it. And you know what? Rachel Maddow having this guy on, it was a good segment. I can respect that. And I have no problem shouting out anybody, left, right, up, down, whatever. If they say something that makes sense, it's the right thing to say. Good. Encourage people to do better. But Rachel Maddow responds to Trump and basically, did anyone show you the rest of the show? Did Trump need to see it to give you a compliment for doing something good? These people are just, it's insufferable to me. Take the compliment. You know what I would say? I'd be like, appreciate the kind words. We look towards doing a good show with people that matter. I am absolutely critical of you in many other capacities, but at least we can say this one good thing, right? Hey, now's the time we come together. It's why Trump reached an olive branch and Rachel Maddow smacked it out of his hand. You see the problem here? It's not all the way. Okay. I want to say it's not the conservatives doing this. Sometimes it is, but it tends not to be. Of all people, Trump said, hey, thanks, Rachel Maddow. And she basically was like, no thanks. Well, what are we supposed to do? How do we come together if one side absolutely refuses? President Trump tweeted praise for MSNBC host Rachel Maddow for showing how great a job the federal government is doing. Thank you to Rachel Maddow for putting our military on full display and showing how great a job the federal government is doing, Trump tweeted. Also a special thanks to General Semonite, a patriot of the highest order and truly talented engineer and builder. Now, I know a bunch of lefties are going to be like, Tim, he was being sarcastic. He was insulting her. I don't see it. Yeah, maybe. Don't see it. If someone said, Tim, like, nice shirt, Tim, I'd be like, thank you. It is a nice shirt. I like it a lot. Why would you assume negative intent? That's what concerns me. Trump's tweet included a video from an interview with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Commanding General Todd Semonite on Thursday night's The Rachel Maddow Show, during which Semonite explained how his Corps is fighting the coronavirus pandemic by constructing temporary hospitals. Now, Trump tweeted out her show. I can only imagine he was sincere in saying thank you. Like, what is this? And she had to, you know what, man? Semonite explained how hotels, sports arenas, and other buildings already built to code for fire safety can be converted for use in the coronavirus fight. Thank you for speaking about this with such clarity, Maddow told the general. It inspires confidence, sir. Good luck with your work. A strong and frequent Trump critic, the liberal MSNBC host on Tuesday called for a media blackout of the president's press conferences as an effort to not amplify misinformation. Now let's think about how remarkably stupid this is. This guy was called in by Trump. Trump is one guy. He doesn't make the entire government. Every time a president comes in, they have available resources, and Trump has tapped the appropriate resources, and even Rachel Maddow is praising it. You don't got to like the president's attitude to say it was a good thing he called in the Army Corps of Engineers, right? He's the commander-in-chief, after all. And even Rachel Maddow is saying, you're doing a great job, thank you. And then what, F Trump? Dude, well, MSNBC's Rachel Maddow responds to Trump's interview praise. Did anyone show you the rest of the show? Oh, you got to do this, man. You can't just take the olive branch and say, while we disagree greatly on so many things, I do think you did a good job in calling in someone like, General Semonite, who is a good guy who's fighting the good fight, and I respect him. In fact, he's doing a better job than you, but we can save it for another time. That would be acceptable, right? Let's read what they say on Newsweek. Before I do, I got to do something I rarely ever do and give a shout out to today's sponsor, Virtual Shield. As you know, in this time right now, the economy has taken a major hit. Media companies in general are getting hit pretty bad because ad rates are dropping. But for me, I get a special hit. YouTube's demonetizing like most of my videos on the coronavirus, 95% or so. Now they tell me I should be cleared soon, so hopefully. But for the time being, Virtual Shield is helping me pay the bills and keep the show floating. And look, I got to be honest, I don't really shout people out, but they've been here since I started. They were my first sponsor. They've always been there for me. Virtual Shield is a virtual private network service. It provides you simple security for your web browsing and for your computer when you're at home. I always tell people, you never expect anyone to break into your house, but you still lock your windows and doors anyway. Virtual Shield's virtual private network. You can go to hidewithtim.com. The link is in the description below. 30% off, $3.50 per month, and you will get that same basic level of security. Makes it harder for hackers and certain bad people. It makes it harder for them to steal your data and spy on you. So if you're interested, hidewithtim.com. Serious thank you to Virtual Shield for helping me, especially right now when this kind of stuff, people aren't really advertising a whole lot. It's getting worrisome. So, and thank you to everybody who watched, who you understand why, I give shout outs to sponsors, but I sincerely do have nothing but gratitude for Virtual Shield. Great product. And they've helped me since I started all these years ago. Let's get back to the story. Newsweek says, MSNBC host Rachel Maddow responded to a few rare words of praise from Donald Trump by pointing out several ways he's personally leading the worst national response of any industrialized nation in the world. Maddow recently interviewed General Semonite, we know that. And then Trump thanked Maddow, that we know, for putting the military on full display. The MSNBC host graciously accepted the president's compliment before launching into a series of posts labeling the Trump-led U.S. response as a catastrophe and listing bullet points detailing where the federal government must take immediate action. Maddow provided the president with a link to the full segment, which offered scathing criticism of Trump's chaotic coronavirus response. By the way, did anyone show you the rest of the show from last night? It's funny. Most Americans support what Trump is doing. His approval ratings through the roof. You want to be the odd person out and be on the wrong side of history? Sure, that's what they call it, right? You're on the wrong side of history, they say. Then you go ahead and do it. I'll tell you what you could do. Drop the snark, okay? You got real criticisms, you encourage the good. That's what you do. I've said it over and over again. I always tell, when I see, there have been many people who have done bad things, and I've given them an opportunity to do the right thing, to highlight the good and encourage the good behavior. If you don't like Trump and he does something good, you say, Trump, that was good. Do more of that and I will like you. And then he does. And congratulations, you've won the man over. But instead, you get a wrist slap. The olive branch comes out. Rachel Maddow has to maintain her persona, even though she's in the minority here. That's the craziest thing to me. A lot of things Trump has done on foreign policy, for the most part, I've been critical of. Not all of it, actually. He's done some good stuff. I always bring this up. So forgive me if you listen to me say it a lot, but a lot of people may be curious. The North Korea stuff was a good thing. Crossing the DMZ was dangerous and it was symbolic and it was powerful. But the Middle East stuff, bad. And I can criticize him for it. I have no problem. But I also have no problem praising him on the economy, recognizing that according to the polls, it's a minority of people in this country who support the president. For the most part, he has a lot of support when it comes to his job on the economy. But now with the coronavirus, it's not even a question. The majority of Americans, including a large portion of Democrats, support what he's doing in terms of the coronavirus. So who are you, Rachel Maddow, to smack away an olive branch and then claim you know better about his response on the coronavirus? I'll put it this way. Let's say Trump has to make 10 decisions and 7 of them are, or let's say 2 of them are, oh man, kind of okay. 5 of them are pretty good. Good job, Trump. And then 3 of them are pretty bad. Rachel Maddow essentially takes the 3 worst things and says, look at this disaster, rah! Instead of talking about the things he's doing that are actually pretty good. And then you get the media trying to make good things sound like bad things. So Trump came out and said, we got a potential treatment here. Hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. Man, hey, I'm hopeful. Small studies, promising. It may work, it may not. That's actually what he said. What does the media say? Trump encourages a guy to drink fish cleaner. Not even legit. It's totally fake. And what about Andrew Cuomo? Says the same thing. What do they say? Nothing. It's because the people in media like Rachel Maddow don't want to be praised. They don't want Trump to be right. They run a show. Their show is to attack the president no matter what. I'll be honest. I do something similar, but guess what? I have no problem with you may have heard me say it a lot. I know, forgive me, but when Elizabeth Warren talked about big tech, when AOC talked about big tech, when AOC worked with Cruz on lobbying, I absolutely praised all of that. And perhaps it's fair to say that Rachel Maddow is doing something similar, I guess. Pointing out, all of the worst things. Listen, the reason why I think she's absolutely on the wrong side of history and why we are correct is if you look at the polling for Trump, it has tracked positive. So when I say, hey, Trump just did a good thing, and then all of a sudden the rest of the country is like, we agree. I'm like, yeah, I think it's safe to say we were right about that one. Or I'll put it this way. If I say, hey, Trump just did a thing, it's actually a good thing, and then a bunch of people benefit from it, so they support the president, that's a reflection of the right side of history. Trump is being praised by the American people. He's bringing in good people and no, he's not perfect, far from it. But right now we're trying to survive a global pandemic, and a lot of us are really, really scared, man. So the last thing I need is for you to dump a bucket of cold water on my face when I'm already worried about what's going on with the federal government's response to the coronavirus. The best thing I can do, to quote Joe Scarborough, is support the president and help him succeed in this. But the media companies are taking a hit because ad rev is down. So they're going to go nuts. As they sink beneath the waves and drown, they desperately grasp at the straws above them and screech to no end in a desperate plea to get something out of it. If the president gives you a compliment, you say, "Thanks, Mr. President. I am critical, but I appreciate it. Let's come together and do the right thing." I'd take it. Look, if any one of the people have ever criticized or praising me, I'd be like, "I appreciate it. Thank you. Wow, that's fantastic." In fact, it's really hard to be angry at someone or hate someone when they actually do give you a chance. Like, think about it. You ever have someone you were mad at and they apologize to you? All of a sudden, you can't be mad anymore. You feel bad. You're like, "Oh, they're being nice to me." Not always, but sometimes. If someone you didn't like came and apologized and tried to have a real conversation with you, guess what? We find this. That when people drop the caricature of each other, they actually have a good conversation. If Rachel Maddow said nice things about me, I'd be like, "Hey, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm critical of your show, but I respect the compliment." I'd leave it there. Build bridges, not burn bridges, whatever. Well, I'm hoping I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the show as per usual. We'll see what Trump has to say later. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all next time.